No. No.
Okay, welcome. I'd like to open the meeting for the Conservation Commission for April 3rd. Do you want to read us in, Paul?
All public hearings and meetings heard by the Raynham Conservation Commission on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. in the Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, Donald L. McKinnon Meeting Room, 558 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass., are relative to filings and joint hearings and/or meetings under Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended, and the Town of Raynham Wetland Protection Bylaw.
All right, thanks, Paul. First up, we have a continued notice of intent for DEP file number 2690974 Elm Street East, map 2A5-5, Francis McGurk. You?
Yep, Jonathan Pink.
Okay. We need to go up to the podium, please.
Yes, how are you today?
Good. Okay.
As far as I know, we were at the point of closing the hearing when the agent brought up the fact that Mr. McGurk hadn't paid his taxes on the property, and that's been resolved. So that's about all I have to say.
All the taxes have been taken care of. Yes, they will take care of the next day.
And we also, they did a filing for National Heritage. Approval and paperwork from them as well. Do we have that on file?
Correct.
All right, anything else to add to that, Osmond?
No, just if anybody else wants to, if he wants to add any more information, which I don't think he does, but I'm not gonna speak for him. And then if anybody else in the audience, because I know we had received a letter from an abutter. So that probably should be read into record, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have that letter?
You can basically sum up, yeah.
Yes. Talk about the one in National Heritage.
Yeah, yeah. Because we want to show that it's been addressed.
Yep.
Okay, for the record, we received a letter from Jennifer McNally with a question concerning this particular project and activity. And essentially, she's saying, I am writing today as an abutter of the property located in Elm Street East, and that has submitted a notice of intent. I am inquiring as to ensure the quality of the habitat of the endangered species protected by the Massachusetts Endangered Species Act priority. To confirm that the property owner has an agent has filed with the NHESP for review and approval. I am concerned that the current plan does not cover the designated within the established habitat limit. The plan indicates that the lot includes land that is in the NHESP priority and regulatory map. It is an NHESP estimated habitat limit, PH 741, which I believe requires more extensive NHESP review. If there are currently no application for this NHESP review, I would ask that the Conservation Commission not issue any permits going forward. I would also ask that the conservation request to be completed along with a wildlife habitat evaluation as directed for this land, whether an estimated priority habitat limit or not, in order to maintain the quality of habitat for wild, rare, endangered species. Okay, so that's for Jennifer McNally, 567 Elm Street East, Raynham. Is that you, ma'am? Not in the audience? Okay.
She had stopped in about it.
Okay.
I told her how we had discussed it, and that we did have the
We did
paperwork.
receive the paperwork. We did receive an approval from the Wildlife Heritage Organization, so we're clear on that front. Okay, do you have anything else you want to add?
No,
to the
not
record?
really. We only had a minor part in the habitat anyways. It was just grading, I think.
Okay.
Removal of vegetation.
Okay. Anyone in the audience want to have comment or issue with this project? Anything from the commissioners? Okay. Then we can close the hearing?
And then we'll draft an order for the
Okay.
next meeting.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to close the notice of intent, DEP file number 2690974, Elm Street East, map 2A5, Francis McGurk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There'll be an order of conditions that we'll put forward. There are standard order of conditions. Part of that will be a 25-foot no-touch that you'll have to be maintained. There'll be no debris, either construction or landscaping debris in that area. It'll be maintained in perpetuity going forward. There'll also have to be signage put up, and the details on the sign will be in the order of conditions. It will require hay bales and silt fence along the DVW as well. Anything else we want to add for a standard condition?
Not really, not the as-built for the foundation before any more work is done.
Right. And we need the as-built, as well as making sure that the elevations and natural topography of the land remains the same, so as to prevent any runoff into adjacent properties. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, well, I think the next item on the agenda is, involves Mr. Costa, and I've worked with Mr. Costa and continues to work with him, so I think I need to recuse myself
Okay,
from this.
well, we had contracted, well, why don't we open it, and we'll start with that. Open a notice of intent for DEP file number 2690975, 1540 Broadway, map 3, partial 42 and 42A, Richard Costa, Shady Acres Estates. Okay.
Evening, I'm Kenneth
Right.
Thompson.
Ken.
Cards, please.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Okay, no problem. There was an issue with but he's made it.
Just a comment here is that because Azu recused himself, we went outside and got another consultant, which was Marty Nova and Associates. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to be here tonight, so what we'll do is we'll open it and we'll just have to continue. Anyway.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
You want to read us in, Paul?
In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Raynham Local Bylaw, the Raynham Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2019, at 5:30 p.m. in Donald L. McKinnon Meeting Room in the Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall at 558 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass., on an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Richard Costa, Shady Acre Estates, LLC, 35 Amherst Avenue, Bridgewater, Mass. The applicant seeks review and approval of a delineated bordering vegetated wetlands in any resource areas. The property is owned by Richard Costa, Shady Acres Estates, LLC, 35 Amherst Avenue, Bridgewater, Mass., and is located at 1540 Broadway, Raynham, Mass. Map 3, parcels 42 and 42A.
Thank you, Paul. State your name for the record.
My name is Ken Thompson, botanist, wetland scientist.
Okay.
I delineated the property to show basically the entire flow comes around through this area here, around the estate. There's an upland knoll here. The trailers are all down in here, and then this area was cleared 2012, 2013. There's a channel that follows that whole wetland line around, comes through. This area flows out and then connects in the rear here, and everything crosses under the street here. There's a depression in the center. It's surrounded by boulders. We were concerned that it was a vernal pool, because they show a certified vernal pool right here, but there's no depression. We're assuming it was that. There's a potential vernal pool here and potential vernal pool here. But I've never seen water in it, so I went down this today after the rains. Still no water. It's about 20 feet across. Like I said, somebody put a ring up the boat.
Just a depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's going to be too small to regulate. There was no water in it, so no water's running into it. That's generally what's going on. I mean, Red Maple Swamp, again, the pool over here, pool over here. There's a second intermittent stream that comes in from this side, hits the bottom of the pool on this side and continues across the street. So, again, that's about it.
Do you know what the plans are?
No, I do not know.
We're just doing the BVW.
I did send Caitlin Nova, the Beta Group, some information on that pool. I've got photographs. I've been there 3 times now, once in January and then March 20th and today.
But it was advertised correctly. Sure, just.
I'm here.
Right.
And here it goes. I did some photos documenting this area here. It's filled with Phragmites, 1 common elder, and blackberry. And it's surrounded, if you notice in that aerial picture, there's a bunch of arrows that identify you gotta look close, because the
Yep.
vernal pool, potential vernal pool, that was supposedly certified. There's the rocks, and that's the other potential vernal pool.
Okay.
So if I turn it up the way you're looking at it, probably more in accordance with that. So again, potential, suppose it's certified potential. I just think they mapped it wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll see that for the record. Ms. Nova got a copy of that today. I was in communication with her earlier.
So this is response to her report?
Yes,
You did
she-
receive a copy of that report?
No, I haven't got it. Well,
Oh, you
did I
didn't?
get it? I might have gotten it. It's kind of crazy right now.
It was dated March 26th,
Yep.
where she had questions concerning some of the boundaries, as also as well as,
No, I
as
didn't
you had
see that,
mentioned.
Ben. I didn't see that.
Okay.
We'll address
Give
that.
me more copy. And since they're not here to
Thanks.
defend the report, as it were, we'll just have to probably just continue this until they can make the next meeting.
That'd be fine.
Okay. Any commissioners have any questions at this point?
Are we aware of an application that they filed to be able to do the clearing?
I didn't get it. The clearing on the.
Mhm.
It's a violation then,
Well,
unless they stayed outside the buffer.
has a clearing been done on this property?
He said that clearing was done in 2011, 2012, and 2013, and 2014.
Between the two, that's what the area is, sir.
Where was the clearing done?
Mainly down in this area here.
And again, Mr. Chairman, I'd have to research it. I didn't know, I didn't have any of that information. So I'd
Okay.
have to research and see if there was an old file somewhere.
Does- And we'll have to
That'll be
get
another
that,
thing that'll have to be done.
they'll have to give this to Marty as well. Okay. You recognize that if you did clear that area, that's going to be a violation?
I understand.
Okay.
I'd have to get the previous owner.
Well, he's here now.
Yeah.
I know,
Okay.
When he bought the property, he
Yeah.
bought the violation.
yeah.
Well, we can address that after we continue the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience concerning this property? No? Okay. All right, so you suggest that we continue until the next meeting?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we continue the notice of intent, DEP file 2690975, 1540 Broadway, map 3, parcel 42 and 42A, Richard Costa, Shady Acres Estates. Continue it to
April 17th.
April 17th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. You'll have to have paperwork signed?
No, not this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, notice of intent, DEP file number 2690976, 366 South Main Street, map 11, partial 209. Carol Mezor, Carol's Care Incorporated.
tear sheet.
In the original envelope.
Okay. Thank you.
Are you okay?
In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Raynham Local Bylaw, the Raynham Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2019, at 5:30 PM in the Donald L. McKinnon Meeting Room in the Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall at 558 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass., on a notice of intent filed by Carol Mesor, pardon the pronunciation, Carol's Care Incorporated, 473 South Main Street, West, Number 1, Raynham, Mass. The applicant is proposing to construct a 4,608 square foot child development center with associated site access, parking utilities, grading, and an on-site stormwater management system that will be located 67 feet from a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant also requires review and approval of a delineated vegetated wetland line and associated resource areas. The property is owned by Carol's Care Incorporated and located at 366 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass., map 11, parcel 209.
Thank you, Paul. Go ahead.
Hi, Tracy Dewart from MBL Land Development, here on behalf of Carol Measer. The site is at 366 South Main Street. It's about 1.7 acres in size. There was an existing single-family dwelling on the site that had to be demolished, so right now the site's currently just maintained lawn, slopes gradually down to the back of the site, or eventually after the property line you'll hit wetlands and the Ford River. The associated buffer zones, though, with the riverfront area and the wetland buffer zone are located on the site. So she's proposing to construct a 4,600 square foot children's development center. The facility will be licensed for up to 53 children, that's the max. The proposed parking consists of 17 parking spaces with a 24-foot drive aisle around. The fire truck turning radius was given to us by the Raynham Fire Department to make sure that their largest ladder truck could get around in and out of the site as well. The parking lot, this is just a presentation plan with the parking lot rated at a 1% slope pretty much from here down to a curb inlet here, an opening in the curb. So there'll be a curb break with a pea gravel diaphragm for sun pre-treatment of the stormwater runoff. It'll flow in a vegetated grass channel to a sediment forebay and an infiltration basin at the back of the site. The infiltration basin is capable of handling the 100-year storm event with a foot of freeboard. And the work that's located within the buffer zone is about 9,000 square feet of grading and basin that's within the 200-foot riverfront area. Nothing's within the inner 100-foot area.
So what's being done in the 200-foot area?
There's grading and a portion of the infiltration basin is within the, this pink line is the 200-foot.
Yeah, okay.
So the grading and the basin.
How much, any fill involved, or just grading?
Not in the back of the site, no. The buffers are colored on here. There is a flood zone at the back of the lot.
Yeah.
There's no work within the flood zone at all. The blue line is the 100-year flood elevation.
Okay. So outside of the river, there's no other BBW involved?
This is the 100-foot wetland buffer,
Yeah.
so this small section is
Okay.
grading, but that's it.
Just in that small corner?
Yep.
Okay. Within this area, do you have enough room for a 25-foot no-touch area as well? After it's, because even within the grading and...
Six. Yeah, but the 25 foot, Mr. Chairman,
Is-
is way,
Yeah, this yellow
That
line
isn't
here is
anywhere
the
near-
25 foot.
Okay.
So the closest distance from BBW to the limit of work is about 67 feet.
Okay. Do you have a chance to review?
yeah, they actually, you given the, I mean, we don't tell people not to file what they have to file, what they choose to file, but I think they could have probably gotten away with the request for determination, because everything's outside the 100-foot inner riparian. It's outside the 50-foot wetlands buffer, so I mean, the plants look very good. So the only reason I would suggest even leaving it ever to open would be to hear what planning board, if they're not done with the planning board, you just so that we all have the same plan, but everything looks good. One thing I will ask is to stake out the edge of the basin closest to the resource, just so I can take a look at it in relation to that. But other than that, everything else looks good.
Okay. And they
I'd
did
like
recently
to- I'd like
refresh
to-
the flags if anybody needs to do a
Yeah,
site
but I'd like
walk.
to see physically the.
Yep, no, we'll do that too, yep.
The berm of the drainage.
And also, Mr. Chairman, Brian Dunn with MDL for the record. The planning board has the exact same set of plans that you have right now.
And when are you planning to meet with them?
We're on the agenda for the 18th, and it's getting peer reviewed with them also.
Oh, so your next hearing is actually before that?
Yeah, so if we continue, we would have to go
So
to
if you want to continue to like May
May 1st,
1st,
the one after.
just so in case you have to include anything that the planning board might want you to add.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we close it here and you have to come back, you have to file all over again, so we're better off keeping it open. Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Azu, have you checked the stormwater calculations?
Yeah, Tracy did a good job.
And everything is up to par?
Yeah, I just want to physically see the location of the,
Okay.
We have, Mr. Chairman, we have already staked out the foundation, right? We staked out the building.
I'd have to confirm with survey. I believe they just refreshed the wetland.
Okay, I thought that they were
and
staking out the
meeting all our water
building
flags.
and refreshing the welcome flag. So if someone walked out there, there'd be welcome flags there as well as the top of bank.
Okay. Yeah, well, as Azu mentioned, he wants to get out there and look at the actual
The edge of basin where it's
location,
closest, yep.
where this basin's going to go, because it's within the 200. Anybody from the audience have any questions, concerns on this? Now, you have to come up to the mic, please. State your name and address.
My name is Catherine Bryant, and I live at 709 South Main Street.
Okay.
And I'm concerned about the size of the parking lot, because I believe she said it was for 18 cars. There are 53 students, and I don't know, I wouldn't think that would be adequate, especially if you have a handicap van, because that has to have more space to turn around. And this is the worst possible place you could locate a daycare center, because it's on a curve, and you can't have people backed up in the street waiting to get around. So I think that if this is an issue with parking, it would affect the plans. And I would like that consideration to be explored.
If they change the plans based on planning board or
Okay,
the
but I
building
think
commission,
that
they have
is-
to come back here
Okay,
again.
but so then our concern is with the planning board. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
If I can, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
We did have a technical design review meeting with Mr. Iafredi's office, as well as the department heads of the town of Raynham. The fire department was there, DPW was there, Bob was here. Who else was there, Tracy?
Fire department, Concom.
Well, just to move this along, I will have to interrupt Mr. Dunn. that really is not germane to conservation. That has nothing to do with
Right.
conservation anyway.
Understood, I just want to say that we had been working with them
How's that-
on
how's
the
that
layout of the
going?
parking and so on and so forth.
Anyone else for this? Okay.
Is it okay if I address that?
Please.
Just because I understand people have concerns. My name's Carol Meeser. I'm the owner of this property. I've been running the Children's Development Center for 10 years. And I knew that people had that question, so I documented for 1 month, and there's only 4 cars that come at the same time before they leave, before another car is coming. So for a whole month, I documented, so I have that information, because you don't, so there's only 4 people at the same time in the parking lot right now. So that wouldn't be a problem. So
Okay.
not everybody drops off at the same time.
Again, planning board or building.
Yeah, but I just want to make
inspector
sure
would have-
I'm addressing that. So
deal
there's
with
there's
that.
only 4 people at the same time as in the month that I did it. So you don't have, there's 53 children, they're not all there at the same time. I'm licensed for 53. So I just wanted to, get your information for you. So there's never more than 4 cars for the most part, with parents in it. My staff might have a car sitting there, because they're there all day, but parents are not there. So I just want to make sure, because I understand everybody's concern.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, I guess the only next step would be to continue this till after the planning board, which would be in the May meeting, what's the date on the May meeting?
May 1st. I'll double check. But it's May 1st.
You need something in writing, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, we would just need a note saying you're requesting continuance
May 1st.
to May 1st.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
not-
so that'll be more than 21 days, yeah, so they need to request a continuation to that date.
Okay. Is that okay?
No problem, let me just write it up.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's easier.
All right, entertain a motion.
Is there anybody else that has any questions?
Anyone else in the audience? Questions, concerns? Okay.
All right,
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we continue the NOI for DEP file number 269-0976-366 South Main Street, map 11, parcel 209, Carol Mesa, Carol's Care, Inc.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So moved.
And that's to May 1st.
May 1st.
So for anybody here, you will not receive anything else in the mail. The 1st of May is when this will be before conservation again.
That's it for the formal. Move on to the informal. Okay, discussion regarding DEP file number 2690934, 1000 New State Highway Innovation Park. What are we discussing on this one?
Okay, so if you remember, this project came way back with before the commission. And it was approved and they received an order of conditions. Take care, Brian. It got an order of conditions. And then they came back and requested an amended order of conditions because they have a new potential buyer or developer that would do a truck terminal.
A truck terminal, yeah, I
Right, so,
remember, yeah.
right, so you approved that and amended the order. Well, that fell apart. So they wanted to go back to the original order. Well, that order is still on the books. It hasn't changed because when you give the order, when you give an amended, if you look in the file number, the forms, DEP says, just the fact that you've given an amended order does not extend the order itself. He just allowed them to do more
To
work.
do different.
Right.
Okay.
So they asking to withdraw. There's no action really for you to take, other than say, yeah, we acknowledge that you're taking the amended plans back. So you're still following the original plan.
Is there any time limit on the order of conditions?
Well, the original 3 years.
Right, so they're well within the 3 years.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
can just continue.
Yeah, they just continue. Yeah. But if that 3 years start to lapse, they need to file.
They need
for
to file an extension.
request.
Are
So
they- They're aware of that, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, they should be.
It's not what I asked you.
That's
We've had issues before where
I
people
know,
have
I know,
not
I know.
forgotten that they didn't have an extension, and we had
Yeah,
to
we're
make
not gonna talk
special
about Bermuda.
considerations. Okay, yeah. Don't be name dropping now.
Oh, so I'm not gonna say that, we're not gonna talk,
All we need to do is a letter?
yes, yes, to them. yeah.
Do we just tell them that they
They
continue?
know that they're more than welcome to pursue regional approval.
Because they asked the question, we need to
We need to
respond.
respond
Okay.
in writing,
All
yes.
right, so you'll take care of that? Okay.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Okay, discussion regarding completeness of a filing. What's this about?
Okay, so we had, way back, the commission approved a process whereby a number of sheets, drawings and everything needs to be submitted. I think we want to cut back on that. It's just way too much, especially when you start getting into projects that has like 20 sheets, like Bassett Knoll, for example, or like this one here.
Yep.
You don't need 5, 10 copies of the plans.
That's in the bylaw, right?
Well, those are your regulations, that's not bylaw. So
okay, yeah.
you can always change your regulations at any
Okay.
time. But the other item is, the more important item that what we've done in Bridgewater, for example, is people, when people file an application, 3 forms of application come before conservation. One is a request for determination of applicability. Under the Act, when somebody submits a request for determination of applicability, you have 21 days within which to issue a determination unless they ask for an extension of your decision time. When people file an ANRAD or a notice of intent, you have to hold a hearing within 21 days of them filing the application. Okay?
Okay.
You don't have to decide within 21 days.
Just hold a
Okay.
hearing. Okay.
But the issue then is, your clock shouldn't start until a complete application is submitted. So if somebody comes and files and submits a notice of intent, but they don't have the proper fees paid, well, that's incomplete filing. So it is deemed administratively incomplete.
Okay.
But also, the way people get around it sometimes is that they can technically drop off an application with the town clerk. And that is, and if the town clerk stamps it in, it is deemed to have been filed.
And if we don't act on it
And-
within 21
right, and
days,
the town clerk,
they can go ahead.
no, they can go to DEP.
Right,
Constructive approval only applies to planning board. Constructive approval does not apply to conservation. But then you lose the ability to hold the hearing, they can then go to DEP. Although DEP is not characteristically in favor of people coming down.
They would push it back to us anyway.
Right, and they're not gonna have the time anyway to move any faster. So what we do in Bridgewater is develop the policy where you don't get a hearing date and your application is not considered to have been filed until it is deemed by the staff to be administratively complete. We've had a good number of applications where they didn't pay the filing fees correctly. And we've had one where the filing fee was short by as much as $2,500. And so what they did in Bridgewater was develop a policy where the town clerk is notified that, yep, you may accept the application, but don't stamp it in.
Why would the town clerk get the application? Why wouldn't it come to conservation?
Well, because people are smart. The law says that the town clerk is official keeper of record for community. So people can be smart and skirt around that and say, oh, can you make sure, I went downstairs and Gail is not there. Can you get this to Gail, please? And oh, by the way, I just need a receipt to show that I dropped it off. And I know I play that game. So,
Sorry.
yeah. Okay, but, so you have to have a formal, post that discussion. You can't do it right now. You have to post it, that you're gonna be undertaking these items, and then have a public hearing on it, and then advise the
Well,
selectmen.
right, because if it's regulatory, we
Right.
need to still have a
That's
public
correct.
hearing.
That is
Right,
correct.
Okay.
And then,
Also, is the town clerk able to legally not stamp it in?
absolutely, if this, for example, if it's a regulation, you have to have the regulation in place.
By your own statement 2 seconds ago, we can't have this discussion
No, I'm responding to his question.
till we post a meeting notice on it. and
Right,
have
but
a
I'm
hearing.
asking, I'm just, yeah, you're not,
I
in
was
other
asking
words,
a question about town clerks when they receive
right,
paperwork.
right,
If
right.
they
You're
have
not
to-
actually discussing the policy.
Okay. All right,
That
so
is a
we'll,
good idea.
we'll put that on the agenda for next time, then, and we'll bring it up for discussion, so everybody knows what we're gonna do
And then
that.
you're gonna post that with the town clerk,
Okay.
specifically that they're gonna be doing this.
And
then
process
also-
and
and also the
procedures for
website.
that. Right, okay. Okay, anything else?
The highway people, so are gonna be, were coming, so the highway department, I met with them, gosh, at least 2 months ago, I believe. And, they wanna do a salt shed.
Right,
Yeah.
I saw that, yep.
So, I think that what they're trying to do is so way out of jurisdiction, and I don't believe it requires, because they already have a salt shed right now. So it's not maintenance, it can be considered maintenance, and it's a public infrastructure that.
So they don't require,
Right, and I told them that, but we need to, from the office, acknowledge that we've been notified that they're gonna be doing that. So that's a documentation that is the case.
that we acknowledge that they're going to do that, but
Right.
we felt that there's no action needed from us
That's
to give
correct.
them permission to
That
move
is
forward,
correct.
so we can draft something
That
to
is
that
correct.
effect.
Aren't they gonna build a bigger structure?
Yeah, but it's still outside the jurisdiction.
Oh, okay, all right, oh, still,
Yeah, just a little grading will be in the.
all right, okay, okay.
Yeah. The only thing is, there's another phase of the work that's not part of the shed that they're gonna file a request for determination for. That is the access road. That's a separate item.
Okay, all right.
They actually sent over the plans.
If they
So
wanna take a look.
if you want to take a look at them, it's up to you.
No, I think you shared that via email, so somebody did, because I think I saw
Okay.
that.
Yeah, and I went there, met with
Yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
and looked at it.
So there's no reason for them to file with us then.
All you're
Okay,
gonna be doing is about making money for the engineers. And your tax bill, if you're gonna be doing this.
yeah, it's our own tax bill, we don't want to do that. Okay, everybody have a chance to review the meeting minutes from March 20th?
I'll make a motion, we accept March 20th, 2019 meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any bills?
Yes. Do you want to go through the correspondence, because you've read it all?
Sure.
Okay, any correspondence?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll give this to you, but it's stuff that we received from Merrill Associates, and they want to be doing a single application, like a hybrid that gives them a blanket. I don't think that's a good idea.
You don't?
No.
Why is that?
Pardon me?
Why is that?
Because if some of those projects, I mean, it's always good to do a request for determination. We've not ever pushed for a notice of intent for those projects, but you really need to know, is it a service or a main? If it's a main construction, that can be considered like a roadway improvement. But if it's a service construction, you want to know where that service is going and how close to wetlands it is, because it's still going to be a private party. Even though Columbia Gas will be doing the work for them, it's still the private owner's responsibility to file with the commission. The gas company may be offering to do that.
On behalf of the
On
customer.
the behalf of, right, but the service goes with the property. So I can't see how you can give a blanket approval
Yeah.
for them to do every work in town. That's why I
Who is this from?
Merrill Associates, they do a lot of consulting work for the gas company, for Columbia Gas. And if you remember, there was one particular one on Mill Street, the one that, you know where Tedeschi used to be, right by Center Street and North Main, where North Main, right. And that road, is that Gardner?
In between, Gardens is further down by past Coletti's.
Okay.
Got Mill Street and North Main Street.
Yeah, look, it's on Mill, it was on Mill Street. And they were gonna charge the homeowner like $6,000.
Lakeview Drive.
Huh?
Lakeview
East
Drive.
Lakeview, thank you.
Lakeview
They were
Drive.
gonna charge him $6,000 to file an application on their behalf. And it's just, that's sinful.
Okay.
You know, I told the homeowner, I says, no, you fill out the paperwork yourself, and then tell them they can do the work. You know, it's crazy. People can't sustain some of those
And the worst part about
expenses.
it is they told the homeowner that there were conservation fees.
Yeah. Exactly.
He
You know?
told the homeowner conservation was charging those
Yeah,
fees.
no, don't do that. So,
But are we gonna put the onus back on the customer?
no,
Doing it this way?
because Columbia Gas wouldn't do this service without that information. But at least you're seeing which service is going in and where. Take, for example, it wasn't on a gas, but look at what they did at the post office, for example.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the post office says, oh, give us a blanket of approval for any post office work in town? You never want to see that the sewer was literally 5 feet away from the wetlands.
Okay.
And homeowner service is not considered maintenance of public utility. Maintenance of public utility
It's the mains.
is the mains.
Yeah, okay.
So do we need to do, for this, from the board, a motion?
A motion to
saying-
say, thank you for your information, but at this point, at this time, the Conservation Commission does not believe that a blanket application is the way to go.
Okay.
All right, I'll make that motion that we send to this company a letter saying that the blanket application for the town of Raynham is not going to fly. And you can wear that a lot better than that.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Okay.
We still got more correspondence.
When I first saw that, I thought it was perhaps a good idea, but now that you enlightened me, I changed my
Yeah,
mind.
they could do,
Well, because they can be very slick. So you do have information from, regarding Annie, their favorite recycling facility.
Right.
So they are on an administrative consent order, and they're gonna pay the state some penalties, and they're gonna fix their facility. And that's what it's all about. It really is more from the solid waste division, not the wetlands division. You know, DEP is made up of these different, right? So this is just so that you're aware of what's going on.
Right, yeah, I did see that, that filing and fees and
Yeah.
fines that was sent. Right. Is that gonna solve the odor problem?
That's,
It's a
no,
different
'cause
issue?
this is Patriot Recycling.
Okay, that's right.
That's
Because
the
it
Patriot
still says Kearney though.
Earth Source
Earth Source
is the other one.
Is the other one, yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have to make sure that we separate them out, because a lot of people do think that those large piles on the Patriot Recycling are, well, they are Earth, so, but that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic, but that part of the property is technically not Earth Source. Earth Source is up and around the corner, but a lot of people assume the front part is actually Earth Source. It's just some Earth Source material up there.
But it's some owners.
Yeah, that's increasing their tonnage.
Well, Yeah, but as long as they don't infiltrate the wetland,
We have no,
it's not
Yeah,
anything
they
to do
haven't
with
gone
us.
past those berms that you asked them to put up.
Right.
Right, and as long as they're maintaining those berms as we
Yeah.
had requested.
Right, and they have been.
And what's this one here?
That was from planning, just to let you know, notification if they're gonna just work on Terrell Road. Terrell Road.
Terrell Road, okay.
That's just for your information.
Okay. Anything else?
Any site visits?
Any site visits?
That was, I already reported on that last meeting.
Okay.
Anything else we need
The
to
only thing that will be
discuss?
coming up is on we did have a meeting yesterday with Mr. Noblin and his engineer regarding the work that they want to do on Route 44. And
Which project is this?
next to, it's an existing business there, not a car dealership. What's that store for?
So it's on the right-hand side, right down the hill from Walmart, okay?
Okay,
It's the
Used
building that has...
used to be owned by Perini, the people that did Industrial Park.
okay,
I think there's a realtor's office in there.
okay.
There's quite a few of this office spaces in there.
So basically, the project involved filling the wetlands in order to put a building up. So I told them I cannot recommend that, but they should come to Concom, at least get a sense of what the commission thinks. So they were gonna try to come here, our next meeting, but the engineer said he wasn't gonna be available for the 17th because of prior commitment. So they're gonna be coming here May 1st to.
With an NOI or
No,
discussion?
just to, he didn't wanna go through whatever, just to fill the commission out. 'Cause I told him I can't,
yeah.
I can't give him an opinion of what you should do like that, So I'm kind of made it, but I don't want to preempt your discussions. I just want to let you know that I met with them and that they're going to be coming on May 1st to discuss what they would like to do.
We'd be hard pressed to approve any fillings of wetlands, so I'm not sure that that's going to be beneficial for them. Okay. Anything else?
Site visits,
That was the site visit.
And then Frank Gallagher will be coming back to Concom on I forgot the name of the subdivision, but the one on Pine Street. They're gonna make some changes to the project, so they will be coming back to us.
Okay. Okay.
You ready for my motion?
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.